Virgo Rising, welcome here to Soul Passages Astrology. I am your astrologer, Georgia Dempsey, and I am thrilled that you stopped by to join me for your March eclipse report. We've got some super potent things happening in the universe come March 8th and 9th. We've got a total solar eclipse happening, and this is going to rock everybody's world, including yours. And so it's good to know what's afoot so that you can harness the energies consciously, make wise decisions, and go with the flow, so to speak. And for you, the big action is going to be happening all in your partnership section. So this is your 7th house, which impacts long-term partners, lovers, very close friends, close business associates, etc. So it's a pretty big and important time. Now, if I could leave you with one key message for this eclipse season, it is to remember, I am you and you are me. Look in the mirror and what do you see? All right, well, all of the grit and learning and Dharma right now is happening for you within the relationship sector. And so this is the juicy part of your life right now. So let's talk about the planetary lineup so you have an idea of what's going on. And again, so you can get a handle on how to use those energies well. Now, when I look in your 7th house, which is ruled by Pisces, I see the following planets. You've got Mercury, Neptune, Ceres, the Sun, the Moon, Chiron, and the South Node of the Moon, which is retrograde. And so that's in itself is kind of interesting. But huge planetary lineup, absolutely huge. And let's break them down one by one so you get an idea of how you can use these planets to your best advantage. Well, first of all, let's go to Mercury. Mercury is your planet of communications, and when it's sitting in the 7th house, what that tells me in Pisces is that it's time for you to have some talks with people on a soul-filled level, to share emotions, to share feelings, and to open yourself up to some of those difficult conversations. And by doing so, you have a great opportunity to learn. And I know that this is where, good learning potential lies. And I also know that you're probably feeling pretty scared about doing so. And that's because squaring all of that stuff in your 7th house is Saturn. And so there's kind of a fearfulness of sharing, a fearfulness of opening up, a fearfulness of sharing what's in your heart. And yet, that's what's really called of you to do right now. Part of this whole eclipse season is for you to open your heart chakra, especially when it comes to dealing with others. So very important. Now also you have Neptune sitting right next to Mercury in that 7th house. And Neptune can be famous for bringing in fogginess, for bringing in uncertainty and unclarity. It is also the higher octave of Venus, so there is a wonderful soul-filled feeling with this Neptune. And, so there's a good feeling to it as well. Now, what this can also do is, you might be seeking the perfect partner, right? The ideal. And all I can say to that is there is no ideal in human form. And so you can, daydream and desire that, but we're all human. We all have our gritty edges and our learning curves, including you yourself as well as the rest of us. and you'll never find perfection. So just keep that in mind. Now, the other thing that you should be careful of at this time, and not to say it is going to happen, but it could happen, is there is the potential for deception and lying, possibly coming from some close partners. And so just be aware of that. All right. Now, next to that, I see Ceres, which is a dwarf planet. And that's all about, self-care and nurturing. And, in this case, it's in the house of partnerships. How do I care for those in my life? How do I show that I'm supportive? How do I show love? And of course, also, I want to say, take care of thyself, too. That's also very important. Now, next to all these, we have the sun and the moon, because it's a new moon phase, powerful new moon. And at times during this eclipse season, Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to be conjunct each one of these luminaries. And so questions that come to my mind when you have that wounded healer conjunct the sun and the moon, you may be feeling some woundedness when it comes into partnerships. However, you might also ask yourself on a soul level, who am I when it comes to partnerships? How am I in a partnership? What am I like on a soul level when I'm interacting with people? And how does that impact the relationship? We are all beautiful souls on this planet, and we are all striving and trying to improve ourselves. And so we have to not only look at the other, but look at ourselves and ask, what can I do to develop my higher consciousness in regards to how I am in partnerships with others? And, so that I can improve my relationships, basically. So you should be holding a mirror up to all of your relationships right now and taking a look, and what do you see? And if you don't like what you see, what can you do to change that? So, for example, if you like kind words from people, use kind words. If you like justice and fairness, treat people with fairness. Whatever it is, whatever you desire in someone else, you have to reflect that. So if you like happy, bubbly, fun atmosphere, you have to have a happy, fun, bubbly mood that you come in with, right? So whatever you want, that's what you have to bring forth. And I know that's a hard path, but that is actually what's being called for at this time. Now, the other thing I want to take a look at too, and we'll come back to the 7th house, but I want to take a look at Jupiter and that north node of the moon currently sitting in your 1st house in Virgo, because part of this equation in improving the partnership energy is to take a look at yourself. Jupiter in Virgo is all about developing thyself, improving thyself, and taking a look at you in relationship. How are you? And what can you do to make things better? So honestly, a lot of this is a path of self-improvement and discernment and believing in a higher power and a higher grace, knowing that you can make the changes you need to draw in the people that you would like. And so this can be a very powerful time. Now, the other thing you might want to be aware of, there's always a good and a bad with every planet, and it just depends on how we choose to use the energies. But another thing with Jupiter, you could at times feel a little bit superior, have a superiority complex. I don't think I said that right. Or, a feeling of it's my way or the highway. And I can tell you that's not a good energy for this eclipse. There's a huge opportunity to learn right now if you take it, but if you get that my way or the highway thing, you're going to lose that opportunity. And the other thing with Chiron, opposite all of this, sitting in the 7th house, especially in Pisces, there can be a tendency to fall into the victim end of the pool. Oh, woe is me. Look at how everybody's treating me. And don't do it. don't do it. With Pisces there, this is a place where you will drown, okay? Not only will you drown, but you'll miss the huge opportunity for growth, for learning, for self-improvement, and for getting where you need to be in the long haul. So don't let Chiron act out in that way. Instead, turn that seventh house energy into Dharma. How can I work on myself and improve the relationships that I have? Just try it and see how it works. Again, with Jupiter there, and other things that are being called for you to develop and work on is your outward expression into the world. So how do you express yourself into the world? Are you aware of how you do that? If you're not aware of it, maybe ask some people that you're close to and say, how do I come off to people? What is my image like? How do people perceive me? The way that I talk, how is that perceived? How's that picked up by other people? So developing outward self-expression and absolutely developing a belief in yourself and your own self-worth and your own self-esteem and improving what you think about yourself is very powerful right now. And these are all great steps forward to improving relationship patterns in your life. Now, I'll also add another thing that's hinted at here, since the first house rules the body, is you could also receive great luck this year in terms of working with alternative health methods. Okay, whether that's mind, body, spirit, whichever part of you you're trying to heal, all of those things are highly indicated. And that's because Jupiter in Virgo rules over alternative health. So turning to whole foods, liver and gut cleanses are particularly powerful for you at this time because Virgo rules the intestinal tract, Jupiter rules over the liver, and so working on those aspects of your health would be huge. Are there other mind, body, spirit practices that you could do that would help with, calming frayed nerves so that you can project yourself better, or just getting in touch with a higher power so that as you go through this changing evolution of who you are, you feel supported and loved. Because it's very hard to change our old habit patterns and to move forward in life. And yet that's exactly what you're being called forth to do right now. All right, so then let's also take a look at the moon. And the reason I say the moon is because it is all about those habit patterns. How did we grow up as a kid? What are our gut reactions to things in partnership? How do we handle our emotions? Are we blocked in expressing our emotions? If we aren't blocked, does it come out of us like a volcano? Just being aware of who we are emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Again, this is what's all being called for. And with Chiron, the wounded healer there's an opportunity for us to look deeply into that and to heal any patterns that we need to do. And this is, again, so powerful for you right now. And the flip side of that is that, if you're not working on yourself, you're not working on the self-improvement, then some hard lessons are going to come your way. You've got the south node of the moon there, and that's other people delivering events into your life, right? So it could be some tough conversations coming regarding partnerships. It could be some events coming regarding partnerships that don't feel good. If things have been going really awfully, people could just walk out of your life. And so you're really being called right now to watch over the partnership energy and also to plant seeds for what it is that you do want, and recognizing there is no such thing as perfection, and that whatever you want, you have to project that. And so, really working on that self-development and looking deeply at where you stand with the relationships in your life. And are you seeing a pattern? Are you hearing the same messages over and over? And if you are, how are you making changes so that you can change that? And I want to give you absolute positive hope and faith for things to work out well. because you do have Jupiter sitting in your first house. And you're getting more conscious and aware of things just by listening to this. And I know it's going to be tough because squaring all of this relationship and self stuff, you have Saturn and Sagittarius sitting in your fourth house. And so anytime there's a T-square, and this is definitely a T-square energy, it means that there's going to be a bit of a hard row to hoe, right? It means you're going to have to put in hard work and effort. In the fourth house, it means that, you have to look to your past. What in your past is affecting your relationships right now? Saturn relates to authority figures. It relates to parents. The fourth house generally relates to mother. Saturn generally relates to father. So I see parenting issues coming to the forefront. Were you given some relationship scripts that, wow, they just totally didn't work, and they didn't work for you, and are you still using them? And if so, you got to get rid of those. You have to find a way to overcome that. And in doing so, that will improve not only yourself, but will improve your relationship patterns as well. And so I know this is tough, gritty work, but it is exactly what you are being called to do at this time. And so, my dear Virgo Rising, right now, it is time for you to learn about yourself through your relationship with others. Can you find a way to open your heart chakra? Make the changes you need. Be of compassionate service to others without being a doormat, okay? Nobody deserves to be a doormat. How can you make changes that can impact your life powerfully for years to come? Can you get past your fears and your blockages and have heartfelt conversations with people so that you can learn what you need to learn to set a wonderful trajectory for the future? Okay? Or do you stay stuck in those old habit patterns, blame everybody else, and negate this learning opportunity? So the choice is up to you, and you have a wonderful chance to make a big difference in your life right now. So just know, big stuff is brewing, and it's brewing on the relationship section of your life. And you now know how to harness the energies well to make things happen, in a better fashion. And do so between now and March 8th and 9th. And you could have a positive impact on your world. And remember, it's all about raising our consciousness level and developing who we are as a spirit. And so again, I come back to that Saturn in the fourth house, and that is, who are we? Who is the truth of who we are, right? And basically, we're all souls, and we are souls with a past that stretches many thousands of years back into time. During that long journey of our souls, we pick up things along the way. Some of those lives we've had enable us to be very strong and powerful and full of wisdom and joy and strength. And other lives we've had, sometimes maybe even including this one, they just deliver some hard messages, some bad scripts, some bad parenting, some bad events. And sometimes, we don't heal that even from before. And those types of things can get carried forward and have an impact on us even today. And so once you recognize yourself as soul, though, you realize, wow, I'm going to keep going around and around this circle. And so how do I want to come out of the wash on the next go-around? How can I improve things on this go-around? What can I do to make a difference? And by recognizing yourself as soul, you really begin to raise your consciousness level, raise your vibration. And by raising your vibration and how you're interacting with people, people around you are going to raise their vibration as well. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for you to do some healing, self-healing, and healing on a partnership level. All right. Another thing we want to keep in mind is during this eclipse season, we have Jupiter opposite Chiron. And, Jupiter gives us strong convictions as we mature, how things ought to be, right? We get that idea of how things ought to be. And yet we also have to realize as adults that everybody has strong convictions, and we're all, believing in our own truth, right? And so we have to realize that everybody has their version of the truth, and we have to have some bend and flex in our convictions. If we hold so tight to them that we develop that superiority complex, well, we're going to get nowhere, right? So we've got to remember that. And for you guys, it's really important too, because you've got Libra on your second house cusp. So that's your house of earned income. And that means to be successful at work, you need to develop relationships that are harmonious, that are balanced, that are fair, that, feel good when it comes to social interactions. So these are the kinds of things, you need to master in order to do well. So this is all kind of related to that relationship department. All right, so open your heart chakra, dear Virgos. Work on self-development and be daring enough to talk to people and ask, what do I need to do to improve? And take that to heart. Don't be a doormat, but learn from what you can. And recognize that I am you and you are me. So take a mirror, hold it up to your relationships, and look at what you see. And if you don't like what you see there, what can you do to make some positive change? All right, I wish you the absolute best eclipse season. Peace, blessings, and namaste. And dear Virgos, if you find you need some help as this eclipse season comes forth, feel free to give me a call. I am doing a special up till March 1st where I'm doing a 1-hour reading for $50, and I would be happy to help you if you need a hand. And also, please do tell me what comes out of this eclipse season for you. I'd love to hear if this information helped you in your life, and feedback is awesome. And if it did help you, please like and share my video and subscribe to my channel. All right, take care. Have a great day.